Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm getting ready to use these lovely rhinestones that I got from AliExpress, and I thought they were Monty's, but I did some research and Monty's don't have this big area here. And they have like a channel, like a little X or a cross. So this cup part isn't as deep. Anyway, you can take a look online about those, but these are still beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to try and make a bracelet. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm so new to this, I really don't have a clue. I did pull out some bicones to add to it, but I don't think the bicones, I got some 3mm and 4mm. I think they're still too big, so I need probably a 2mm pearl or bead, or maybe just some regular either 11-0. I tried 8-0s and they were too big for this application. So what I got started is this here. So let me bring it up to show you. So I've basically just, it's kind of like when you start a bracelet with, say, 4 beads on it, 4 circular beads, how you create a loop. Or you could look at it as like a right angle weave. So you're basically going in a circle. But what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 Superduos, a rhinestone, 2 Superduos, a rhinestone, and then you're going to go through it again. Now what I did, because when you do that, this is what happens. And I didn't want that. So when I was putting it on, I then turned the corner here and put my needle through and came out this end. So now what we need to do, and again, I'm just like figuring this out. So you could actually, I'm thinking you could actually put your next rhinestone on. So let me see if I can do that. If that would work. If I could ever pick it up. Like, okay. Let's just try it and see what happens. Oh, I'm tangled around my beads here. So I put out some other beads. I thought maybe some of these green pearls or these champagne pearls, but I think they're going to be too big for this design with the Superduos. The Superduos, when you get that kind of butterfly effect happening, this kind of winged thing happening, the bead that's going to fit here, I mean, I guess you could, when it's really flexed apart, you could actually, let me see if one of these, I mean, that might fit. So we're going to put those in the end to zip it up. In the end to zip it up. So that's a 3mm. Let's see with the 4mm what that looks like. Oh my gosh, there. So that might work. So we might be able to add that. In the meantime, I had these lovely, they're called Gold Shine Yellow Sun Superduos from Jill Wiseman's, and that's not the price that I paid. These were like super cheap. I think they were like $1.25 a package, and I wish I'd ordered like 10 of them. I think I only ordered 4 of the different colors, the opaque colors that I like. So thank you, Jill. I love you. You're my bestie. Keeping me in beads. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. If we did that, Now we're going to have to, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So, and I can hear you guys now. You're going, oh, Emma, no, do this, do this. You had it, you had it. Oh my gosh, my thread's really long. And I can't believe it. I ran out of this 4-pound. I guess I'm gonna make, we're supposed to go to Walmart on the weekend, and it's in like a shopping, I don't know what you call that, like a shopping area where they have all the big box stores. And so they have a Cabela's Pro Shop, and that's where I bought my last. But I went through 125 meters plus two small ones. How much is it? 50 yards. So I've gone through 225. I'm sure you guys are laughing like, yeah, so I've gone through many of those. But for somebody who's just starting out, you know, that's how you should gauge your experience in bead weaving, is by how many meters you go through. I've beaded 600 meters of beads. Oh, let me get through here. Okay, so I'm adding 2 Superduos, a rhinestone, and 2 Superduos. And let's see if this is going to work for me. This may not even work. And now we're going to go through this hole. Let's see if that's going to work. Cross your fingers. Okay. Yeah, looks like that's kind of what the effect I'm going for. So now we do have to, so I'm going to go through a second time, I think. So I guess there's an easier way to do this. That would be to string a whole bunch of rhinestones and then just weave. Once you have that on a strand, just weave your Superduos in. And the even easier way is if you had a cup chain. Let's see what we could do here. But that's no fun. That's cheating. There's no cheating in beading, just like there's no crying in beading. Oh wait, there is. There's crying when your deliveries don't show up, like me. There's crying when you can't thread your needle. There's crying when you run out of thread. What's your crying situation? There's crying when this happens. This knotted nonsense. And I hope I haven't made it worse. Yeah, I think I am very close to maybe, it's like a full-on knot. Where is my, oh, I see what's happened. So I should be able to pull this out. Woo! Okay, let's see if we can get this. There. Ooh! Oh my god, it's starting to look sparkly. That's awesome. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm gonna pull this apart and I'm gonna thread these on, and then we'll just weave on the rest, because this is just madness, and I still don't feel like it's secure enough even with the thread, and I'm worried with all that metal it might like the sharpness might wreck the thread. So I will pause this and I'll be right back once I have these all threaded on. Okay, so I got that all taken apart. I've got bead bugs on either end of my soft flex wire. I put soft flex because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I think what you could probably do if you're going to use soft flex is put your clasp on right away, and use a crimp bead and stuff like that, and then everything's ready to go and you just weave onto it. You could do that, I guess, but I'm not sure where I'm going with this, so that's why I use the bead bugs just to hold it. And I also kind of wanted a bit of looseness to be able to maneuver through things, so I put a stop bead on right here, and I went through the side. I've added 2 Superduos, so now I'm going to go through this next hole and pull that through all the way, and around my wire here. Let me just move my wire. I'm using white thread so I can't see it. Okay, you kind of have to hold your 2 crystals you're working on because they're spinning around. Let's try that. This is really not working the way I expected it to. There's still a lot of kind of flippy floppy going on, but I am not giving up. So I'm going to add 2 Superduos. You can see this. And I'm going to come around to the first one, and then I'm going to go through these Superduos again. Let's go through here first. And I'm putting my finger there so that it doesn't pop to the bottom. There. Okay, now go through these guys. Again. And through the hole. I think as I start getting some tension, I won't do this because you see how the thread has moved away. It will tighten when I pull it through, but as we start getting stuff on there, I don't want that to happen, so just do one hole at a time. Okay. Now we are going to add 2 Superduos. And we're going to go through this hole. Make sure that's flat. You know, initially I thought of doing like a right angle weave or even a brick stitch of 11/0 seed beads to create something to lay these on, because I still feel like these are popping to the back and I definitely don't want that. But let's see what we got here. The idea with this was that you could just thread it on very quickly, but it doesn't seem to be doesn't look too quick to me. I think, and the idea too was maybe having some using 2 needles and doing it that way, so that you string on 2 Superduos, a crystal on the one side, and then when you add your, oh, why is that just, this needs to come all the way the other way. Then when you add your next crystal, then you weave your thread through both. Okay, I need to get this out of here. There we go. Okay, so that's the back. Let's see what the front looks like. So I mean, it looks stunning in the front, and I'm pretty sure it will start to get a little firmer once we zip this up. So I'm going to go ahead and add all my Superduos and see what we come up with. I guess the other thing is we could add a bead here right away, and that might make them a little less floppy, and it might secure this. Yeah, there's so many variables that you could do, because I was thinking you could actually, when you're threading your crystals, rhinestones, you could actually add a smaller bead right here to begin with. So then when you go to add your Superduos, you just weave those through that. You wouldn't even have to go in and out of the crystals. That actually seems like a better idea. And you could do that by right angle weave. Now the thing that I was finding with the right angle weave was, because I tried it, and that's why I'm not doing it right now, but I found that these flipped on each other so that the flat parts sit together. So that's why I didn't, and it's, of course it's square too, so that makes it that much more difficult. So I'm going to pause this and I will put the rest of these on, or I might fix this situation. I thought I was ready to go with this, but we'll figure it out. I mean, definitely this looks amazing. So we gotta figure it out. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I took out the Superduos, and what I did was I grabbed these 4mm, I think they're copper check glass beads, fire polished, and I've put them where I was putting my Superduos. I put those there, and actually, as you can see, it's keeping the shape in place. And this is what it looks like on this side. I did put some Superduos at the end. I probably should have left those out, now that I think of it. And I tied my thing off. I should have put a stop bead, because then I could take those off. But I still have a plan to put Superduos in here. So I'm just wondering if 2 will fit. Let me see if I can see if that will work. Yeah, 2 will fit. Perfect. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do for now. I still don't know what I'm going to put in between here to finish it off. I might do some picot with some other stuff, but that's starting to look pretty awesome. Yeah, I think that's going to look really good. So I'm going to continue adding these guys. Yeah, we'll figure out what to do. Might put some 15 O's across each one. Who knows? But we'll just keep going. But, you know, at least now it's staying in the orientation I want. Now, I don't know what would happen if I took the wire off, so we won't do that. But there we go, and thank goodness. So I needed, for my size wrist, I needed 30 of these rhinestones. And the packages are, they were $2.50 for 100 of them. So that's pretty good. Now for my wrist is 5 3/4. So for say a 7-inch wrist, you're going to need, you know, 40 to 50 of these, between 40 and 50, maybe even 55. So the reason I brought that up is these come in strands of 50, and I pulled out a strand and started weaving it, and then it occurred to me that there's only 50 here. If I have 30 here, that means I need 60 total. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to change the color of these to something else at the end or in the middle. So I scooped into my stash and managed to find another strand of these. Thank goodness. So yeah, so I have enough for that. We'll see how that works out, and I'll pause this, get this part done, and then we can do the Superduos and move on from there. We should have a lovely bracelet at the end. Okay, so I got all the 4mm fire polished beads in, and I went ahead and I moved my stopper bead to leave some space for my wire so I could get in here when I started adding the Superduos. And I just wanted to show you what happens is you can actually move it up and down on the wire. So we were wondering what would happen if we took the wire off, and I suspect once the bracelet's together you could probably take it off. It would hold its structure, but I still think it's a smart idea to keep it on. Now I'm keeping the bead bugs on there rather than put the clasp. I'm holding off putting a clasp on right away. I think it would be a smart thing to do, but I might want to. So I've added the Superduos on this side, and as you see how these kind of fan out around the corner, so I might want to add some Superduos here. And if I put a clasp, it might make it difficult to add that depending on the type of clasp. So that's the only reason why I've held off, because it definitely would make this easier to maneuver. But here's the other thing, the fact that I can move this wire up and down actually makes it so much easier to grasp things. But I have to say, like, I knew right away when I saw these green crystals, and they're actually supposed to be resin. They feel like glass to me. I don't know how they can be resin. I don't know if that was just a listing error or what, but they definitely feel, I guess they might feel a bit plasticky. I don't know. They're stunning anyway. But with these colors of beads, they look incredible. So they're the ones in the gold cups, and it just totally sets it off. So I definitely will be coming back and adding something with these Superduos. So something in here, in between these two, and possibly in between here. Yeah, maybe an 11-0 or a few 11-0s. Something like that. But if you can see here in between these guys too, there's space. So I think definitely I need to put some stuff in there too. Now, I mean, yeah, see it's popping open with the Superduos. But if you look at this section here, it's it can be tight. So I don't know. I have to think about that. So I'm going to continue working on this, and I will come back once I have all the Superduos in and make a decision as to what I'm going to do with these guys and how far I'm going to go with this. I'm just pushing them together to see what happens. So, I mean, I guess you could do you could do one Superduo maybe, but I think it looks nicer with the two. It looks more like a flower. But what I was thinking is possibly you could alternate. So take this set out and this set out. And then when you squeeze your beads together, it would look something like that. So there is that possibility. But you know what? Having it on the wire is working great because it's allowing it some space. And even though I tried to pull my thread tight as I was threading these guys on with the little bead, you're still getting some separation. You can see. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But it looks very vintage, like old jewelry. Isn't that cool? So I'll be back. Hi everybody, I'm back, and I went and finished the whole thing. So I did manage to, I need a light here. I did manage to finish putting the Superduos all the way around. I added 4 to the end and didn't use a fire polished between them. I left them just the 4. They seem to fit better. And then doing this, it created some space between these rhinestones. I looked for different beads, like a bar bead or crescent bead to go in between. But you know what? I felt like it took away from this lovely bracelet the way it is. Let's see if I can get some better light here. So yeah, I thought I'd leave it just like that. I can always work on it later. I did try putting 11/0 gold seed beads around the rhinestones. It looked too crowded, and then I was getting ready to do some 15/0s. But then I thought, no, you know what? I like it this way. I'm going to leave it. So that's what I did. And what I put between the Superduos is these round 11/0 Tohos, and this is bronze color. And they fit beautifully. Now I could have put it in between just the groups of 2 Superduos and leave this space empty, but I thought I'd do it all the way around, and it looks like it turned out really, really nice that way. So this is the bracelet, and I wanted to put a nicer clasp on it, but I didn't. I couldn't find one to match, so I just went ahead and put a magnetic clasp. I put a 6/0 seed bead and a bead or a crimp cover. So it's not too bad, but I definitely, this is my kind of prototype. This is what it looks like on the back. So this is one I'll definitely work on, but it's lovely. The colors really go together. They're incredible. They kind of feed off of each other. So there you go. That's something you can do with these beautiful rhinestones. So I did leave the soft flex in it, you can probably take the soft flex off after you bead weave through everything. It's pretty secure. So, you know, that might be an option. I might try that. The other thing too is with this soft flex, like these beads stretch and move. So that's why you're seeing all this space here. Really, if you were to stretch it out, there's no space. So there we go. There's this beautiful bracelet. Hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit all over the place, but that's what happens when you see the process of how I get to a lovely bracelet. And I mean, I've never worked with these, so it's hard to know. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned tomorrow to see who wins the giveaway. Bye for now.